Hi, Yr8. Hope you're all well and hope you had a nice holiday half term. Okay, and perhaps spent most of that time outside with any luck. I know that was the last assembly that I kind of touched on. Now, I'm going to open this assembly with a bit of a quote from this lady above, Maya Angelou. I've learnt that people will forget what you've said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Now, I think we could take bits from that. I think actually it's perhaps about experience. That actually quite frequently, you won't forget what that experience was like. Now, there are many ways in which we could look at that quote, but that's the angle that I want to go on for this assembly at the moment. Now, throughout these last few weeks of working remotely once again, we've all had experiences. I'd like to think that there's been a lot of positive experiences from that, and hopefully we can share and take that from this assembly, and hopefully I can highlight some of those parts. Now, I know quite very much so that you've experienced these things that I have, that I've shared with you in the previous assemblies, about being fed up perhaps, that had enough. Sometimes you might have been engaged, sometimes maybe not so much. About attending 5 days a week in front of a computer, right? Some of you might think, actually, that wasn't necessarily a great experience. But we can take things from it, and we can learn from it, and we can strive to make further improvements, just like we've done this round without you probably realising. And that's hopefully what I'm about to touch on here. With regards to attendance, regular submissions of work, attitude to learning. Well, some of you might have got your monitoring back now, and you'll probably think, well, actually, it's worse than what it was when I was in school. But then we can take things from that. We can look at setting targets. We can look at what wasn't working and how we can then improve it. That's positive, right? Because regardless of what you're monitoring, regardless of what that score is, we can't forget that it's about making those improvements. It's about using the time left of this year to the maximum when you're back in lessons. Now, if we was to look back on the previous lockdown, 69.5% attendance, well, the second time around, 76.4%. And that's not accounting for the last couple of weeks. Well, that's positive. Engagement is far higher as well. Once again, that's positive. So don't kind of look and be too disheartened. It's a bit of a tongue twister there, all right, about your monitoring, because actually, with regards to the lockdown, on the whole, for our year group, it is better. The quality of work has been better. It's been more consistent, and it continues to improve. That's what it's about. That's what I'm going to take away from this experience, is that it was better than the first. We must continue to do that as we go on and move on into lessons. That we continue to make not only our experiences, but the experience of people around us positive, memorable, and better. Now, for this last slide, there are going to be some other experiences. Some might be new for some. For others, it might be just continuation of what they have been doing. Testing, for instance. This is going to become the norm for now, at least. And it's going to be regular, both in school and perhaps at home as well. That's going to be an experience. But you know, it's not just for the benefit of you, but it's for the benefit of everybody. So it is important that you test regularly and it's done properly. Face masks, well, you know what? That will continue to be an experience for all of us, and it will continue to be part of the uniform. It may be an experience that you take from your first few years at the Garibaldi School. It might be that we end up wearing masks compulsory throughout your period at Garibaldi School. But that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a negative experience. Online learning, for instance. We've all experienced it. We've all gained skills that are going to be hugely valuable, not only to us in school, but actually as you go on to your career. Because there's no doubt that this will continue in careers, in other jobs, not just working in school. So let's not forget that. And let's think actually, that's forced us to learn a whole range of skills, a whole new way of learning, which we would never perhaps have experienced before. That's evolution. That's positive. And we must take that from this experience. Above all, I hope that we can take something of value and that your experience of this lockdown, remote learning, has enabled you to place value on the things that are also equally as important. And the value of being in school, in education, your friends, your family, being outdoors. The value on making the very best of the opportunities and the chances that are available to you when they are available. That's what's important. And that's what we should be remembering from this experience. Now, on return to school, these experiences will continue and you'll continue to have new experiences. But from my experience, learning, education is the key to opening the door to many more future experiences, broader experiences, experiences that are forever going to be life-changing. I'd like to think that you will take something positive from this and keep advancing, making better, so that actually, you know what? You'll probably forget what I've said in this experience of this assembly and all my other assemblies. You may well forget, right, what I've done in them. But I'm hoping that actually you won't forget that we're a cracking year group and we're going to continue to be so. That's important. Take care, and I'll see you in school next week.